Hello, welcome to the Redeye Scream. Trump bucks, $6 trillion aid package going to both small businesses and directly into your and my pockets. Is it a good thing? Is it something we should be bragging about? I'm not sure, guys. Am I gonna take the money? Damn right. I'm not fucking retarded. But this isn't the best idea, is it, Penoid?
Yeah, look, man. You can't literally double the amount of money in circulation and not have inflation. Like, it's that simple. Like, next year, you're literally going to be paying double for everything other than what's actually already regulated by the government, like food, eggs, bread, things of this nature, where they have, farm subsidies or egg subsidies or, maintaining, dairy prices and things, whatever. But everything else, cars, houses, things that are actually worth something, stocks, you're going to end up paying twice the amount of money for them. This is where, like, this whole mentality of the rich keep getting richer and the poor get poorer. Well, of course, if you devalue your currency, this is what ends up happening. Because the rich have stuff.
Well, what if, okay, so I'm thinking with some of the money, we were doing some remodeling, so we'll probably finish doing that. I'm probably going to go out and buy a gun, and then maybe throw $500 into the stock market and just let it ride. If people actually invest and do it that way, this might not be as bad as it could be.
Well, I'm already on that investment thing. I apologize. I'm eating some dinner here for lunch, or breakfast, which I haven't eaten yet today. Let's look at it like this, right? I've already been investing in my channel. If you've been watching my channel, you've been making money. It is what it is. Right now, we're up something like 40% from yesterday. We're over here making money in the market at the moment. So, like, yeah, I got you. Investing is probably not a bad idea, but I'm probably just going to pay some bills. When I get this money, because I'm waiting on unemployment to come through at the moment anyway. And I had a job interview today. I got the job. So that's kind of where I'm
at. Wolf shot. Okay, so I know, leaving the South, that was a hot spot for the coronavirus, especially Louisiana. How's VA looking, and what are you gonna do with the money?
Well, Virginia looks like shit. Hotspots are mostly up. It's Arlington and Fairfax, which is by DC. Our area is kind of getting that way. It's getting pretty bad too. It's probably up 40% for cases. What am I gonna do with the money? I don't fucking know. Pay bills. That's about it.
You're not gonna look for a new car and or buy a PlayStation, or because you know what Trump wants to happen. He wants Americans to blow this money.
Like a decent car.
Well, I was looking around for like a 98, 99 Grand Dam. Something that's a little fast, a little older, whatever.
Fucking white trash. I love you.
Hey, fuck you.
Nah, man, look, I wish we could find that out here. There ain't no Grand Dams left in this motherfucker.
We got Grand Dams coming out of our fucking ears, man. El Caminos. Oh my god, like.
Oh, dude, I love El Caminos. They're way better than the Ranchero. Fuck you, Ford.
My dad had an El Camino growing up the SS. Oh my god, it was fucking tight.
Yeah, I had a 77 with a 383 stroker, and what it got a $700 Ford transmission and a posi rear on it. Man, that thing was a gangster. But like, it ended up getting stolen because I left it at like I had a buddy of mine. He was moving some weight, and like he had a shop, and it ended up getting jacked out of there, and I never got it back.
I totally thought you were going to say I parked it outside the 7-Eleven.
Yeah, some lady rolled up in a brat and just hopped in. Yeah. Nah, man. Like, yeah, but up here we ain't got no old cars left. Like, they're all gone. They all disappeared. Like, we don't have anything at all as far as like 90s cars. There's nothing left in this area at all. It's been picked fucking dry. Everything got crushed for cash or clunkers, or they traded in for scrap last what was it, 2010, 2011, when the price of scrap was up?
You know, and that's another, like, a difference I noticed between Oregon and Louisiana. They have that fucking, what? They have to go through your car and test everything, right?
Inspections.
Inspections, yeah. You have to get tags and inspections. We only need tags.
Yeah, we have inspections every year, plus tags, plus plates, plus, whatever other nonsense the state wants to require you to have. And each registration zone bumps up as much as your car it gets looked at for fuel mileage. And now it's and how much weight your car is, right? Like, say if like you have like your regular registration, I think it's like $50, and then you have like a truck, you have an SUV registration, which is like $80, and then you have like a pickup truck registrations, which is $120. Class 2 pickup truck is like a F-250, right? And I mean, anything that hauls more than, I think, like 1,000 pounds, that ends up bumping it up to like almost $200 for registration. Then it just goes up from there.
Shit, so you're almost better off getting like a little Chevy Love or something if you want to pick up, right?
Dude, I keep hearing these words, Chevy Love. Somebody else talked about that the other day. I've never even heard of this car or seen it. Like, I have no idea. Like, I had to look it up because I didn't even think it was a thing. I've never seen one of them around here ever.
Really? They're just like a little Nissan pickup. Like, they're just little tiny pickups.
Yeah, nah, like we don't have stuff like that around here. Like, we don't really have like small pickup trucks. Like, you have big pickup trucks here. Like, that's all they really run with. I mean, every once in a while you'll see like Colorados or like Ford Rangers. But again, like, yo, dude, legit, since when I started driving in like 2000, there was plenty of cars for like 8 years, and then cash for clunkers happened and everything disappeared. I never saw, like, I went by there was an Oldsmobile, what was it? Not a Bravado. It was a Oldsmobile Cutlass Sierra. There was a Cutlass Sierra sitting on the side of the road. Swear to God, they wanted $3,400 for it, and it was like a 1989.
Damn. Yeah. The shit's inflated over there. That's crazy.
Car prices are insane out this bitch. Legit. Like, I told you, man, like, I bought a van, and because my credit was fucked up, I ended up paying, I think, like, what, $14,000 for a fucking car with 150,000 miles on it.
But, okay, so $6 trillion. Republicans nailed Obama on Obamacare because it was going to cost, what, three trillion or so?
No. That wasn't the numbers for Obamacare. The reason why, like, all right, the amount of money that like Obamacare was going to cost over 10 years, this makes that look insignificant. Legitimately, like, I've never heard, like, because this is only supposed to cover like 3 months worth of the U.S. GDP, and it's like nearly, what is it, like 40% of the U.S. GDP. You know what I'm saying? It's like 3 months of U.S. production is really what this is supposed to cover. And they're, like, they're going to cover nearly 40% of the U.S. GDP, which is going to be severely depleted this year because of this. It's unbelievable the amount of money that this is. Like, did you hear? Like, you watched my video, so like you heard about all the stuff they put in there. They said there's no more stock buybacks, control for corporate CEOs. Like Nancy Pelosi's bill, I went over it the other day on my stream. I read all 1,400 pages of it on stream, right? Legit. Like, I went through and did the whole thing, right? Yo, man, Matt Barker, you hit the infinite money glitch, right? Yeah. But like, they stood here and they said they wanted to put like diversity officers in, right? Like, if you were gonna take the bailout money, they said that the airlines, if they wanted to take bailout money, they would have had to cut their greenhouse emissions and to cut their fuel emissions, or to get their fuel mileage by like 50% over the next like 5 years or some nonsense. And you're like, yo, dude, don't you think airlines are trying to get the best fuel mileage they possibly can just to begin with? Like, why would you do all these things to the U.S. economy? And by the way, Mad Dodge, they're starting a new bank.
Okay, first off, let's touch upon the airlines because I flew recently. They haven't cut down on flights. What they've done is they're taking these half-full planes and giving you your own aisle, pretty much. Like I got bumped up from economy to economy plus. So, I had a free soda and some fucking Oreos and a little direct TV monitor in my seat on the way home. Some people got kicked up to first class. The people that fly all the time. So they're not cutting back on emissions. They're just half filling these planes.
All right. Well, you got to remember, there's a lot of freight that flies on the bottom of these planes. Like, only part of the plane is filled up with passengers. The other half of the plane is filled up with freight. And so they still have stuff to move across the country. You know what I mean? It's kind of situation.
That is true. And I gotta admit, it was nice landing in Houston and not having 20,000 people filling up this airport. It was nice to be able to move around and actually get to my gate fairly quickly.
I don't know. I've never been on a plane before, so like, it is what it is. I've just loaded them, like set up flights and shipments and stuff. Like, yeah, but Matt Barkley, excuse me. Sorry, had to sneeze. Look, man, I've been over this a bunch of times. I'm getting tired of y'all conspiracy theorists on some nonsense. Legit. Like, this is government doing what government does best. All right. It's trying to, because we have a negative population growth inside of the United States. And like, that's what this is all really about. It's just the government is going to do what the government does. And like, don't expect them to do anything else. You know what I'm saying? They do give a shit about fuel efficiency because like they think it's important. You know what I mean? But like, they don't understand how science or math works. Like, these are politicians who couldn't find their asshole with a flashlight in two hands, trying to tell rocket scientists how to build rockets. It's patently retarded. I don't even know what to say.
Well, and what I'm afraid of, and what I was trying to get through the other night, and when I kept getting called Alex Jones, is government is a necessary evil. Yes. But the government's tendency is to grow. And when it grows and it grabs power, it is loath to give up that power. It will not give it up without a fight. So we grant them $6 trillion. Yeah, we get what? For a family of 5, they're talking about $3,500 in your hand. I have a family of 7, so I'm probably looking at like $6K. Yeah, thank you for $6,000. Now my grandchildren have to pay that back 40 years from now. I don't think it's worth the trade.
Well, I don't either, right? I've been speaking about this, right, for like years now, about the population problem when it comes down to it. So, I was actually looking at Italy's numbers last night. I was trying to find out how many people actually die a year in Italy. And believe it or not, they don't have this measurement anywhere in the internet, which is ridiculous. Because like somebody was saying, oh man, I was watching Richie from Boston, this dude put it up, and he was just spouting this ridiculous nonsense about how like they're just labeling everybody as COVID-19 people and then just not testing them, right? And like saying like, oh man, everybody's dying from the COVID-19, which is dumb, right? Because there's something like 200, 300,000 people a year die in Italy just altogether. And there's only been 2,000 deaths in like 2 months in Italy. So like that math doesn't add up when it comes down to it, but it's kind of whatever. We have a problem. We don't have enough population to be able to pay this off. And these governments are well aware of this fact, right? And it's going to come down to the point where the shrinking population that we have, because they're not going to stand here and allow our politicians to continue to bring in more and more and more immigrants in order to refill the population from the individuals that we're not having. They're going to stand here and they're going to go, no, you know what I'm saying? Like, this isn't the way we should be going with things. And like it's going to end up having hyperinflation just one way or another, because like you're going to have all this debt and nobody to be able to pay it off. And that's something that is insane to me inside of my brain. Like I don't know like what my grandkids are going to do or what my kids are going to do, you know what I mean? Or our kids are going to do with all this debt that they owe for stuff that, you know what I mean, we shouldn't have paid for in the first place.
Well, yeah, okay, so there's the money going directly to Americans, which we're all going to take. None of us are stupid enough to pass it up, right? It's our tax money. We're going to take it. But there's also an aid package for the airlines, as we touched upon, which, I don't know. Is it needed? The airlines have dropped their prices. You know, right now, I could fly round trip to Hawaii for like $150.
Yes, the airlines need it. Okay, so they still have to maintain the airplanes, still have to maintain the airports, still have to pay the taxes on the real estate, still have to pay, you know what I mean, insurance costs. They have massive amounts of loan for buying planes and things of this nature, right, which they're not being able to pay for because they don't have, you know, I mean, the funds coming in to be able to pay for it. So yes, they need the money. All right, that's a fact. Like they need the money desperately. But the thing is that the government stood here and did this, and they're going to hand this out in loans, which it's not okay. When they say that, you know, I mean, they're handing out money to like the airlines, it's not like they're just handing money out, right? What they're doing is they're giving out loans to these individuals, which the truth of the matter is probably going to end up becoming grants and being forgiven if they stand here and maintain their employees for like the next, you know, I mean, or they maintain their employees for the next year or whatever, rehire their employees, which is part of the bill's provisions. But why is it loans? I don't think it should be loans like at all. Like, it should just be like, money that they're giving to these individuals because the government was the ones who decided to shut things down. Like, and they had no control over this. This is an act of God. I mean, maybe like it's something that insurance should pay for. You know, I mean, like their basic business insurance should be paying for this. I don't know, man. And I mean, what do you think?
That's an interesting concept. I did, while I was watching Fox News when I was in Louisiana, one of the news anchors actually brought that up, and they went, a lot of people are finding out that pandemic isn't covered by their insurance. I'm like, oh shit. That's like living in Oklahoma and not having tornado insurance.
Well, we paid for flood insurance here, and then there was a flood, and they said it doesn't cover floods. It doesn't cover water damage for flood insurance.
Yeah, no, and okay, I'm still not convinced that this quote-unquote pandemic is as bad as they're force-feeding us to believe. I still don't buy it. I still look at the numbers of drunk drivers that kill people every year. It's still higher than this pandemic. So are influenza cases and deaths. There's like no cases in Lane County at all. There's like 4 people sick in Portland. I mean, why is my entire state shut down over 4 sick people?
Well, because, man, we're not talking about us, right? We're talking about everybody else. So what we're talking about is we're talking about old people, basically is what the situation is here. And this will decimate old people to the point of where not only is it pandemic on that level, right? Once you get to like, 60, 70 years old, you're talking 15, 20, 30% mortality rate. If you catch this, I mean, it's just, are you going to catch this? When do you catch this? How bad is it going to be for you? Like, I feel where they are. They're like, oh, we're protecting, the vulnerable people of our society. And let's be honest here, the news doesn't pander to the young. The news panders to the old. Right. That's who watches news. The average Fox viewer age is like 63. The average MSNBC news viewer is like 66. The average CNN viewer is like 70. Right. So, of course, they're going to stand here and take this way more serious than the rest of us are, because that's literally their demographic that they're talking to. right? And these are the individuals, you know, I mean, who are going to be the worst affected by this. You know, so that's really what this is about. It has literally nothing to do with the working class population or the working age population in this country at all. I mean, maybe a few people over 50, you know what I mean, with, you know, who are fat, lazy, you know what I mean, cubicle dwellers, you know what I mean, and truckers, you know what I mean, guys who don't get a whole lot of exercise. But everybody else, they'll, you know what I mean, they'll slide by and be fine over this. You know, it hasn't killed one child.
Yeah, no, and Matt has a point. Can't really compare with other yearly death stats until it's been a year. You have a good point, Matt. I agree. I'm just looking at the numbers, and it's not adding up to why we need to grind the American economy to a halt, and we need to bail everybody out like we're all General Motors with our hands out.
Well, yeah, again, you know what I mean, like, yo, because, yo, look, how many times have I told you who votes? All right. Who is the largest voting bloc? Who are the people who make the decisions? Are you going to be able to win an election next year if you let the old people die?
If you're the Republican base, the answer is no, because the young vote Democrat. You know the old saying, if you don't vote Democrat when you're young, you have no heart. If you don't vote Republican when you're old, you have no brain, right?
Yeah. So, what's really the situation? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no, and Matt, actually, let's bring that up. Okay, population density and the spread of the virus. Look at New York. New York has over half of all the beer virus cases in the entire country, if not North America. Right? I mean,
Yeah.
New York is crawling with this shit.
Yeah. Well, they also have the most amount of immigrants out of the entire country. You know what I mean, when it comes down to it. So, you know, that's really what the situation is. What do you want me to tell you?
If you're the mayor or the governor of New York, like if you're the mayor of New York City, what do? Everybody's stacked on top of each other. Even if you put a mandatory order in, shelter in place, or you get shot, it's still gonna spread because sheltering in place, you have a thin ass wall that probably has fucking holes in it from the rats and the fucking roaches. Between you and 10,000 other families, right?
Well, like if it was up to me, you know what I mean? Like I suggested this before, right? You know what I mean? Like I've suggested this a bunch of times. I think we should build a wall around New York City and don't stop building that wall until you get to like fucking Canada, right? That's kind of my mentality about it. You know, maybe once you get past Boston, you can like start taking it towards the Atlantic a little bit because there ain't much in Maine, you know. But I also think we should build a wall that goes right across those 3 states in the outside of the Union on the Pacific side. You know, that's always been what I thought about. You know, and I've spoken about this a bunch of times. You know what I mean? And people look at me like I'm just all batshit crazy. Well, I'm not crazy. All right, legit. Right now, we should just build a wall over New York and tell them, hey, you can go back to work, do whatever you want to do, but y'all ain't fucking leaving that city.
Well, no, and the other hot spot is going to end up being D.C. Wolfshot, are you still here? Because isn't D.C. right over the river? That's going to affect Virginia quite a bit.
Well, no, that's why we have all the cases in Fairfax and Arlington. It's where most of the cases are in Virginia, besides the Hampton Roads area, which is coastal eastward Virginia. It's because of the population. It's because of all the Navy bases. And we have a lot of travelers. So it's like close DC and stop the influx to Northern Virginia. I don't know what we could do about Hampton Roads, where I live. I don't fucking know, man.
Well, like, yo, got to remember, like, the vast, all right, so Mad Dot, you have to remember everybody who lives in Arlington, for the most part, works in the DC area, right? Like, most of Arlington, and that's where, like, that's why Virginia turned blue, because those are all state workers. You know what I'm saying? Those are all deep state people. and like they're all threatened by Trump. You know what I mean? So like they all ended up voting for Democrats in Virginia. That's why like they're having a problem down there with the gun grabbing and all that nonsense. As far as
Well,
the
that
Hampton,
didn't pass though. That
yeah,
didn't
but
pass.
you know the fact that
I
they
know a
brought it
couple
up.
other things passed, but that didn't pass. Thankfully.
You know what I mean? The fact that they brought it out, you know what I mean, is scary in a place like Virginia, which, you know what I mean, is a southern state. It's a southern state. Like, y'all motherfuckers do not play games down there when it comes to being southern. Right. Like, and y'all feel some sort of kind of way about being the most northern southern state. So, but I'm saying, like, yeah, Arlington, the DC, you know what I mean, the lower DC area, and then Hampton Roads, whatchamacallit, what's that over there? Norfolk. Yeah.
Virginia
Yeah.
Beach, Hampton, Newport News.
Yeah. There's one more place over there, Suffolk, right? All these places, you know, I mean, they're high population density areas down there in Virginia where you have a massive amount of, you know, I mean, either A, international trade coming in and out of, or B, you know, I mean, a lot of travel going in and out of as far as shipping.
Well, you've got Richmond too. I forgot to mention Richmond as well is getting pretty hit hard with this.
Well, that's the capital, you know what I mean? So like you're going to have a lot of people, you know what I mean, going between Richmond and DC and Richmond, you know what I mean? And, you know I mean, the rest of the state. So like, yeah. But believe it or not, like I live in the capital of PA and like we just got our first coronavirus case. Like out of everybody. Philly got hit too. Philly's getting banged out. Like there's tons of people out in Philly who have an issue. And I don't know what's going on in Jersey. I ain't getting any news coming out of there at all. Like nobody's even reporting anything about what's going on out in Jersey.
It's a shit show like fucking New York, apparently.
Yeah, I heard they shut it down.
Long Island is getting it more now because of New York or some shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I know in Louisiana, the hot spot, because MC's been following it as well, is mainly New Orleans. But in Shreveport, there's about 10 cases. I think there was one in Bossier. There was none down in Coshada, which is a small town where my dad lives, out in the middle of nowhere. So there was nothing there, but they still have it on lockdown. The airport was fucking empty. But it's a regional airport anyway, so it's usually not that full to begin with. And then add the coronavirus. Or, I mean, the beer virus, sorry.
Yeah, I feel what you're saying. Like, yeah, there's places that are getting popped and places that aren't. Oregon, California, New York. I heard Jersey was bad. We're not getting hit that terrible yet. I mean, there are cases. But here's the thing, though. As these tests become more and more available, it's like the numbers are just going to go up crazy. And it's only because they're just testing more people so that you're going to have more positives as far as that's concerned, you know?
Yeah, no, and you say Oregon's getting hit. I think there's like 10 cases in Portland, a couple in Salem. Like I said, there's none in Lane County, and Lane County goes from the Cascades all the way to the coastline in Florence. It's a giant county, and there's no cases here. Zero. So, I mean, I don't really understand why we're locking down places like where I live here in Oregon, or like Wisconsin, Montana. You know, why lock these places down where there's so few people that even if one person gets it, it's not really going to spread throughout the entire population?
Well, because, yes, and it will, right? And because the population's old in those states.
Like and small towns, man, small towns. If someone gets the flu, everyone fucking gets it.
Yep.
Like they're just like big cities, man. Small towns, they fucking get just as hit as hard.
Yep. Schools pass shit around like crazy.
Yeah, dude. Like West Virginia has like what 3 cases, and they fucking shut the whole state down because they've got such an old population. That's what Florida should have fucking did instead of let all those goddamn kids go down there in spring break and fucking make out with each other, licking toilet seats, etc., and fucking getting the coronavirus.
I'm gonna disagree with that, right? I'm gonna disagree with that. I think they should have just let everybody fucking do whatever they wanted to do, right? I don't think anything should have got shut down. We should have let the fucking boomers catch this shit. Get out of the goddamn way. Drop the fucking real estate prices, right? Drop the goddamn car prices. Pass down some of this inheritance to the fucking future generations. Drop the stock prices. Open up some of these motherfucking areas for growth. Have an opportunity to not have to pay so much money for Social Security and Medicare. Drop insurance rates. Like the whole world would have been better off if we would have just let these motherfuckers die. All right. Like, let's be perfectly honest about this. I suggested when all this first started off, I got on the live stream with a channel with 30,000 subs, right? And said, look, maybe we should, pass plague blankets out at the retirement homes, right? We can do this like Cherokee Indian style. And all of a sudden, I'm not allowed to go over there anymore because of the fact that his whole things are a whole bunch, all of his fucking fan base are boomers. You know what I'm saying?
That's kind of fucked, man.
Miller, I'm with you.
To be honest, that's kind of fucked.
No, that's funny though. And all of a sudden, I'm not allowed over there no more.
Yo, Jesse Miller, I've been killing it myself, dude. Real shit. I've doubled my money. I'm about to double it again. We're getting it done right now over in the markets. We is murdering things at the moment.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking, take some of that money, throw $500 into Amazon stock and just sit on that bitch. That'll go up.
I don't know, man. I'm buying them like right now. We went from shorting out the market until they decided that they're going to do the stimulus package and then do QE Infinity, which that one there is a fucking beautiful sight right there, my friend. Nothing like having an unlimited amount. Okay, so Jesse, I don't know what you're in, dude, but check out my channel. I'm saying I got some videos explaining what we're doing. We are making money. We're up 30%, the past 2 days right now. So we're killing it. What the hell was I gonna say? Oh yeah. No, I don't remember anymore. Where the hell I derailed my fucking train of thought. God damn it. I hate when that shit happens. Oh, fundamentals. All right, so here's what happened. One day, 1,100 or one day, $120. So get it done, buddy. Get it done. I don't know what ETF you're in. You need to let me know. You know what I'm saying? Tell us what you over there getting it done with. You know what I'm saying? Are you making that much money? You know what I mean? Or did you get up to $120? Did you make 22% last night? Because we did too. We might be on that level. Anyway, yeah, so China stood here and stopped shipping goods over to the United States. And they had whole companies shut down in Korea and whatnot, right? So when they stood here and they had these companies shut down because they were missing a spring, and they didn't want to set up a whole new factory to make this one spring that they needed for their car. Same thing happened with Tesla, with Elon Musk. You know what I'm saying? He ran out of parts for his cars. Apple don't have any iPhones to sell. Ford doesn't have any cars to make. You know what I mean? So they have all this debt sitting in, the corporate bond market from them, expanding operations and whatever the case might be, doing stock buybacks, things of this nature. And they have to maintain being able to pay for their debt on this corporate bond market and all the, all the corporate debt that they have as a general thing. And if they weren't selling any vehicles or weren't selling any parts or weren't selling anything here in the United States, they wouldn't be able to maintain their stock price. So I was like, yo, we can short the market and kill this because there's no way that they're going up. Well, the Fed decided that they're going to go in and buy all the corporate bonds that are in the corporate bond market and buy state and local bonds. And they're going to buy MBS products, which is the Jones prop up the banks, right? Which is basically they're sitting on about 70% of all the people who said they got kicked out of their homes. They didn't get kicked out of shit. They're still living inside of those homes right now, right? And they're just sitting on these mortgages because they can't put them on the market. They end up crashing the housing market. So, yeah, anyway, so, they said, but here's the thing though, the Fed said there's an unlimited supply of money for them to buy these objects, right? They're just going to buy infinite amount. There is no limit to the amount of money that they're going to spend on this stuff. So, the whole market is basically getting bailed out. And I was like, well, apparently the shorts ain't going to work no more. So we silver went down to $12 an ounce. It was at around 1920. And now they say they're going to print another $6 trillion. So I was like, yo, look, hop in these fucking silver ETFs, hopping these, gold producers, small market cap, things of this nature, 3 times, movement on them. We can make some money, watch them just all kind of bubble up. Then once, that's done, we'll just hop in the regular market, grab some blue chips and just hang out. That's kind of where the mentality is.
Well, here's the thing too. So you have the government not forcing yet, but asking distilleries to start making hand sanitizer instead of whiskey. Car manufacturers make respirators instead of the new fucking Ford Focus or whatever. You know what I mean? So you have these industries switching over to more of a medical realm. Do you think they'll keep that branch of their company going later and just open new offices, or are they just going to switch right back to what they're good at?
Well, no, you're not going to need this amount of, respirators and things of that nature after this. So, once the need's gone, the product placement will be gone, especially since 3M already has a market.
World War II, man.
Yeah.
They're going to switch, and then they're going to just glide right into doing what they were doing before. No problem.
Well, what if this virus comes back next year, and the year after that, and the year after? And then my brother-in-law brought up a point. People are going to be more paranoid now, so maybe people stockpile on masks and gloves. You know what I mean?
No. That's not the deal. All right. It doesn't matter how much you stockpile. People aren't going to continue to buy toilet paper on the level they're buying right now. To where P&G stock's going to explode through the roof. They're going to become the biggest company in the whole world. That's not how this operates. Georgia Pacific isn't going to be, this giant conglomerate of toilet paper, from individuals just stockpiling, and whole houses and neighborhoods are going to be just full of toilet paper out back, and they're going to find new uses for it and start using it to fuel cars. We're going to end up having Back to the Future cars, floating around running on TP. That's not going to happen. So anyway, and by the way, the government didn't force these companies to do this. These companies did it on their own, and the government decided to use the War Powers Act to pay for it.
It's true. GM voluntarily said they're going to make ventilators.
Yeah. Just so we don't put that info out.
Well, no, and I'm wondering, how hard is it for, Smirnoff vodka to switch from making vodka to hand sanitizer? Isn't that, different equipment and everything? How are they making this switch so easily?
How do you think fucking hand sanitizer is made?
Mm-hmm.
I actually don't know.
Google.
It's basically what, Vaseline and motherfucking alcohol?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. They have the alcohol. It's just, it's not drinking alcohol. It's not liquor alcohol. It's super asshole alcohol with fucking oil, essentially. Which they already have the super duper asshole alcohol.
Yep.
I can't explain it any dumber than that, I can't. Hey, 40, what's up?
Hello.
What up, 40?
Hey, I don't have much time. There are infected people walking around in the streets, right? So I might have to leave in half an hour and go shoot some.
Are you serious?
But no, I'm joking. That's me just saying I might have to leave in half an hour.
Oh, okay. I'm damn.
So we gotta get right here.
Getting for real.
No.
Yeah, well, you are in Cali. You never know.
Hey, could you see 40 ounce standing here covered himself in coronavirus blood? Just walking around with a fucking couple samurai swords and shit. Some niggas with their jaws cut off.
Fucking Michonne from Walking Dead. You know what I mean?
They can't smell you if you smell like Corona. Hang a bunch of empty beer bottles around my neck. It'll ward off the evil Corona spirits. Yeah.
Put on a sombrero and just start going Aiba everywhere you go and shit.
It'll be like garlic and vampires. You'll have to keep the coronas away with fresh cut limes.
I'm saying, dude.
No, see, you joke, but it'll be like that in a fucking week.
How long are they going to have California on the lockdown, dude?
So Gavin Newsom was just right, 30 days, boys, fucking shut it down, and that was on the 19th. So we're not even 1 week into this and people are already losing their shit. But he said minimum 30 days. And then he came out like 2-3 days ago and was just like, yeah, so we're thinking 90 days.
Oh my God.
I know. And I was just like, okay, there might actually be a little bit of reason to panic. People are going to start panic buying even more shit.
90 days?
Yeah, like my
Oof.
girlfriend texted me like a little bit ago and she's like, I literally stashed a roll of toilet paper at my work because we're about out. And so she had to like kind of in a roundabout way kind of steal from work so we can wipe our asses.
I mean, I can't blame her. I would do the same thing, but that would just be stealing from myself, so.
Well, no, that's funny. That reminds me when I was down visiting my family, right? We were at the store, we're at the Family Dollar, and my brother had the last package of like 4 rolls of toilet paper, and we forgot the money at the house. And he's like, hey, can you hold on to this for me? They're like, no, somebody will grab it. He's like, oh shit. So he didn't even trust me. Like, he's like, go wait for me at the car. And he went and hid the toilet paper in the store. Right, motherfucker didn't even trust my ass. I'm like, dude, what am I gonna do? Steal the toilet paper and fucking not share it?
Like I said, the only thing I panic bought is Dippin' Tobacco, and that's it. Like, I don't know. Fucking California going for 90 days, though. Oof.
Yo, man, they going for the win right now out in California. That's what they're doing. They're going for the fucking win.
Do we know how long New York is supposed to be locked down for? Like, maybe we can have some bets.
Yo, look, man, New York's not going to be locked down for that long, all right? Because New Yorkers are not like Californians. They're not communists. Like, them motherfuckers need to go make money. They want to go make money, and they're not interested in sitting inside of some fucking house and shit for 90 fucking days. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I really think New York they would just start coming out, flipping cars, and lighting shit on fire.
Yeah, New York's not communist. Like, Californians, they're all high, you know what I mean? And they don't know what the fuck's going on most of the time. Like, they're willing to like give up that type of shit. New Yorkers is a whole different animal. Like, they're like, yo, I got coke to sell right now. Like, they're gonna come get me for the South before warrant and shit.
I don't know. I could see people in Philadelphia doing the same thing, going outside, flipping cars, lighting shit on fire.
Yeah. East Coast is a whole different animal.
Yeah,
you know?
like, I mean, I can imagine if we have a lockdown, it's going to be the same thing.
Yeah, same thing here.
Philly already came out and they're just like, yeah, so we're not going to arrest people for violent offenses. Or we're not going to arrest people for non-violent offenses, rather, sorry. And so I'm just like, cool. Like, California has this Prop 47 shit that I was talking about, and people walk into stores and they steal just tons of shit and they don't get arrested for it because it's a non-violent offense. It's just like, you're enacting the same shit. People are just going to start robbing stores in mass. Like, you'll see.
Yeah.
Dude, that's going to be like the LA riot, man.
Yeah.
No, same thing in Louisiana. No, same thing in Louisiana. It's crazy. They're like, yeah, we're not going to arrest anybody other than, like rapists and murderers. And they announced it. Yeah. Oh, okay. That's smart. Like, hey, hand me the gun. I'm going to go rob a bank.
Was it the LA riots where all the Korean stores or Chinese stores, whatever the fuck it was, kept on getting robbed and the Koreans started to board up their stores and had guns and shit and were like, fuck with me now? Was that the LA riots?
Fuck with me now. Oh shit.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yo, I know this nigga, man. Like, yo, he's from fucking Pete Stream and shit. Fucking he hangs out with Fedorable.
Goddamn right.
Fedorable the Horrible.
Fed is one of my best friends. He's a lovely individual.
Yeah, he's a cool ass dude. I got love for him.
Okay, so 40. What do you think about this $6 trillion bailout? $2 trillion will be going directly to Americans like you and I. The rest will be going to like the airlines, freight companies, and shit like that.
Okay, well, 2 things. Firstly, it's not going to fucking help anything. You can bail out airplane companies all you want, but guess what? No one's going to get on those fucking planes. I'm not getting on a plane. You can try and say
travel ban internationally.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, even for domestic flights, if you sat me down and was just like, Josh, you want to go to New York and see the sights for $15 for an airplane ticket? Be like, fuck yourself. No one. No one wants to travel. It doesn't matter how much you bail these companies out; they're gonna lapse back into bankruptcy, and it's same for a lot of places. I mean, like a ton of comic books.
Yeah, but do you think
stores
that could be
shut
just
down.
to keep them from folding until they reopen? They could make their own money again because they kind of got fucked over in this one. 'Cause this one isn't like the bank bailout because it's like there was no virus that shut that down. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, no, that's very true. I mean, here's the thing: this virus, hypothetically, it could go away. It could go away after the 30 days, right? A lot of places are shutting down the shelter in place. It could go away after the 30 days. But what's the likelihood that it
hopefully.
will?
No,
I mean,
it won't. The likelihood is
yeah.
very low.
Yeah, exactly.
So what are we going to do? Are we
You
gonna,
have 0% chance of it going away.
okay, so what are we going to do? Are we going to just keep bailing shit out?
Yes,
We're just
Yes.
gonna
because
keep-
we're printing money, motherfucker. That's what the government is here for, to print fucking money.
Well,
Okay.
the thing is, if it doesn't go away, there's only two outcomes of this at the end of the day. If you want to talk bare bones of it, you either have everything fix itself or you have apocalypse. So until the apocalypse, they're going to keep bailing it out to try to prevent an apocalypse. So until then,
Can I vote for apocalypse?
you could just
I vote for apocalypse.
just
I've been saying this
know
from the
right
beginning.
now. Just know right now that you're never going to sleep again.
Just know right now, all right, I'm heavily armed and I live in the Appalachian Mountains. I'll sleep just fine. I'm good. Right. I'm not stressing about that. You know, I'm cool.
Put a
Right.
shotgun on the front door with an eye hook and a fishing line.
Yo, spring traps are illegal.
It's the apocalypse.
Yeah, dude, you need to get Vietnamese. You need to start shitting on some bamboo stakes and making punji traps.
Look, in the
I
apocalypse, this
suggested
is my
plague
game plan
blanket.
for an encampment. You take soup cans, right? One end's off. You take a screw, you put it into a tree through the bottom. So now you have a soup can hanging off of a tree. Take the pin out of yon hand grenade, put it in there with a string. That goes to the next tree. Repeat on that tree. Then you have a perimeter of hand grenades on fishing lines. So if anybody comes through in the middle of the night, they're going to get wrapped up with a hand grenade around their legs. And everybody's going to know that somebody broke the perimeter.
That's Mad Dog.
It could
Jesse
be a
would have
fucked up deer. It could be a really blown up deer, but it's better safe than sorry.
Then you could go eat the deer.
Part of it.
That's all about
Free
that.
beef jerky.
Whatever's left, whatever you can find, and it'll be cooked. It'll be cooked medium rare. It'll be all
It'd
right.
be good. It'd be perfect. See?
Seriously.
Well, I just have one question. Can I have a moat, and can I fill the moat with gators?
Depends on,
Get some
uh,
gators.
depends on if you can find the gators and how strong your back is.
How the
'Cause
fuck are you
that's a
gonna
lot of
get?
digging.
You got any gators in fucking Oregon, Mad Dog? Really?
No, I'm gonna import them. I'm gonna have my dad send them UPS.
We have that wildlife.
How you gonna do that, buddy? There's not gonna be any businesses. Everything's gonna fucking collapse.
He's gonna get
it's
some
okay though.
pipe.
The government will bail us out.
He's gonna get some pipe and go. Oh, those are gators.
The government's gonna fucking send him gators.
No, I think MC's right. I can't have a moat in Oregon. That's collecting rainwater. That's illegal. No.
But if you dug it down to the point where you broke groundwater, it might fill itself.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. But you're in the mountains, so like, that's kind of iffy at that point. But yeah, like, yeah. See, look, I suggested when all this first popped off, we should start having plague blankets covered in the coronavirus handed out at the retirement homes, right? That way, you know what I mean? We could just get this whole thing popped off and like save ourselves some Social Security and Medicare money. You know, that was my mentality.
Well, I mean,
But
it's not
apparently-
unreasonable.
You would have done well on the frontier.
I feel you.
I got a buddy of mine who's Indian and Native American. And one day we were busting each other's balls about something. I was like, what, you feeling a little cold? Should I give you a blanket? And he looks at me, he's like, you're fucked up. I was like, yeah,
Yes,
but you laughed,
yes,
so
I
you're
am.
more fucked up.
Like I legit, I don't understand why we're trying to save the baby boomers at the expense of our future generations. It doesn't make any fucking sense to me.
Everybody's going to naturally fend for themselves through their own body eventually, because everybody's going to get it. Yes, Kitty. It's the
Well,
apocalypse, Kitty.
I can tell you this much: if I get Trump bucks, I'm just gonna go out and buy more guns.
That's what I was saying. I was talking to my wife. I'm like, an AR-15 sounds pretty nice right about now.
Can you see Mad Dog trying to load an AR-15? Could you?
Hey,
fucking
that was the
do
first gun I ever shot, so fuck off. Like, But no,
I'm sticking to the
okay,
narrative.
so Memes is wondering, Pinoid, are you promoting genocide again?
Possibly.
I'm always promoting genocide, man. Look, I started the Trebuchet state, all right? We're going to surround the country with 30,000 trebuchets and trebuchet illegal aliens, wherever they need to go to. And we're going to get like all those hipster douches, at like Starbucks
interesting
and like
story.
trebuchet day. What's up?
Catapulting bodies is how the Black Plague actually started, because it was in India, China, and it was creeping into Persia. And there was a town with, it was an Italian outpost, basically, but they couldn't get through the walls of this town to invade it, the Persians. So after a year of trying to choke it out unsuccessfully, they started wrapping up plague death victims and catapulting them over the wall, and then everyone had to flee. Then they went on the ships, and then they went port to port, spreading it, trying to get back to someplace that would accept the ship.
That's badass.
Yeah, actually, I've known about that one. Yeah, that actually really did happen. It was one of the cons, I think, that did it. But okay, I know I keep bringing it back, but this is $6 trillion. This is the most money ever spent by government ever. And a majority of it is going into big business. Do they really need the help? I mean, I get the airlines kind of do, but what about these other companies?
Let's say they didn't, and it came out of the pocket of each of these companies. Some of them would fold. Some of them wouldn't have any profit for the year. And then that would trickle down to their stock price, and that would destroy the economy. So it's really trying to save the economy more than the company. Companies
Honestly,
are rather
I'm of the
influential.
Thomas Jefferson thing of laissez-faire. Bye.
Yeah.
Fuck
well,
out.
on top of that, like you have to remember.
If
the vast
you do
majority
that,
of older
it's all
individuals
going to drop together.
Wait, they got. Well, what about this? Like, you have all those 401ks that are sitting out there in the stock market. If they end up dropping in value, they're not going to have people being able to support themselves.
Yeah, see, that's another thing. I have a 401k. I haven't looked at it. I've never looked at it, nor will I ever look at it until it's time to cash it in. You know why? Because it doesn't really exist to me.
Yeah, but your money's going into it.
And my money would be going into it anyway. I pay extra $10 for this. I pay an extra $10 for that. Whatever. It's part of what comes out of my paycheck. At the end of the day, it's someone else playing with your money.
Oh,
so someone else playing with your money could
they're
easily
coming.
lose your money.
Guys, I have to shoot them. The infected
So I
are
don't
coming.
put any stock into that.
All right, partner. Well, yeah, but I'm saying, like, this is money that you saved up over a lifetime from standing here paying out of your paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
And, you're looking on having that to be able to retire on so that you can be able to pay your bills and pay your mortgage and pay your car note and pay your taxes and do all the stuff that you have to do. So if that money ends up disappearing, all these businesses that are being supported by your money, plus your family, plus the local real estate market, plus your local municipalities, and I mean everything that goes along the line. The vast majority of these municipalities, the only people that they actually have that are paying any taxes are the elderly. That have fixed incomes that are standing here paying for their property taxes because they own their homes. Everybody else is renting at this point. Because of how young they are and how expensive the real estate market is.
Yeah, my house sucks, but I own it outright. I'm looking to buy a new house, but now I'm not because I'm waiting for the market to go down again.
Oh yeah, I'm waiting for that market to tank. Honestly, I'm waiting for that housing market to fucking tank.
I'm just waiting for $100,000 off the top.
Well, here's the question: if everything goes belly up, though, does it really matter if you have the deed to any property? It doesn't really matter, does it?
Because you're going to have the deed to Fort fucking Knox if you're going to want to stay there.
Yep.
Pretty much. I mean, any home. Take some really nice house. Is it really set up to be a fortress? I don't think it is.
Well, here's the other half. Like, I put a video out on my channel. It's a mirror of somebody else's video about what happened in Bosnia back in the 90s when their town was surrounded. They ended up standing here having the houses with the most fortifications were the first ones broken into. Because they knew they had something to protect. So that's really
sweet targets. Yeah.
Yeah. And when it really mattered, when it came down to guns in hands, like you're not going to survive as an individual. You're going to need people around you to help you. You know, I mean, one gun can fire up for so long. You know, you got to reload. It is what it is, and you have to sleep. You're going to need other people there to help you out.
Yeah, that's why, like, if the shit really ever did hit the fan, I'm going down to my buddy's house because he can't use 50 guns at once. He might El Duce it and have 6 or 7 on him.
You know, when I packed my bug out bag, I packed it for me and my pops. You know what I'm saying? Because he stays with me. You know what I mean? like we'll ride out together and head up into the mountains and do what we got to do. You know,
I hope my son likes me enough that much when he's older. He should.
I'll just be real with him. You know what I mean? That's all you really got to do.
He knows what's going on.
Well, and that's where people are lucky who live out in the middle of nowhere, like I do or Pinoy does. Because, you know, right across the street, I have the Mackenzie River full of fish. You know, like, I have elk running around in the woods. You know what I mean? I have a bow with fucking broadheads. I have guns. So
yeah, that's the other thing while you bring that up. No one is stopping anyone in this country from owning a nice bow. There's no rules about that shit. Go out and get it. No.
Yeah, but it's only effective at like 30 to 40 yards.
As long as somebody's 30 to 40 yards the fuck away from me.
Well, yeah, and I'm better with a firearm than I am a bow. I'm no Robin Hood.
Since they were kids, that's not a bad distance. But you take your average news shooter out there, they ain't gonna hit you at that fucking distance anyway.
This is
because they're noobs.
So this is noobs.
Hey guys, what's going on?
So welcome to the noob news.
So
hey,
it sounded like some people were talking about what sounded like genocide.
It's not genocide if it's just natural selection happening.
Okay, now Tom,
it's patricide and matricide if you want to be nice about it.
Well,
it's somebody's mom and dad.
Well, I mean, we're arguing semantics with pretty much everything. But the thing is, Tom, it's like I hear what you're saying, and that's why I'm not necessarily, even though I kind of am accusing you of promoting genocide, but it's just the way I look at it, man. It's like, okay, the definition of an enlightened mind is being able to entertain an idea while not necessarily believing this. I kind of started thinking this thing through, and I'm like, it is kind of Darwinism, but at the same time, I mean, as humanity, haven't we already made the choice that it is moral to protect our seniors and our children?
Well, our children, yes, but our seniors, no.
We haven't
never made the decision.
We haven't had multiple ancestries of old wise groups of like village elders and stuff like that. Hasn't been a thing like fairly consistent throughout history.
No, fairly consistent throughout history. Like they had, you know, I mean, like for instance, in Rome, when they were sacked by the Gauls originally, it was, you know, I mean, the elders who stayed behind them were the ones who stood there, you know, I mean, allowed everybody to have the escape. It was the very, very elderly individuals who did that. It was not.
So they sacrificed, yeah.
Yeah, you don't sacrifice your decent part of your population who works and produces and has, you know, I mean, and has a future for like the old individuals who have already lived their life.
Well, that was voluntary, though.
You know, sort of, yeah. You know what I mean? But, like, the reality is that's how.
Yeah, but people like that, they were probably thinking, I'm going to die so my grandson could get out.
Again, like, yo, you're going to put us into, like, $6 more trillion in debt. You're going to sit here and destroy the economy and fuck everything up just to protect you? That seems rather selfish to me.
Here's the thing. It's okay when you entertain this. Let's say we have that super huge spike. All the hospital beds are full. It's like, yeah, no, that definitely will hit and likely be fatal for a lot of older folks. But at the same time, when you have that period of however many weeks or months where the hospitals are literally beyond capacity, God forbid you get into an accident, man. You freaking fall down the stairs, freaking have a heart attack, get into like a vehicle accident or something like that because there's no beds. Because I literally thought that through. I'm like, that would be fucked. And I basically just go back to the do unto others as you would have do unto you. It's like, I typically would prefer to live. I say this as I'm lighting up a cancer stick, but I mean, the principle I think is the same.
Yo, no, because you know what? any of us walk out tomorrow and get hit by us, right? When it really down to it.
But we have modern
You know
medicine.
what I mean? So like
If
it
you're in a
doesn't really
city-
matter.
Dude, if you're in a city, there's a good chance there's going to be an ambulance or something there within like 5 to 10 minutes, and your likelihood of actually surviving.
It
Whereas
don't
back
matter.
in the
You
day,
get
dude,
hit
you
by
get
a-
a scratch, you get an infection, you done, man. Play Oregon Trail, brother. I like the hat.
No, look, seriously, like that's remotely nonsense, right? That Oregon Trail was nothing like
You died
no,
of
all right?
dysentery.
Like, yeah, like there was dysentery, like but there was not like you get a scratch and you die. Like that's not how shit operates. All right, legit. Human beings have immune systems, and we're animals for a reason. We're not that vulnerable to
Net
creatures.
neutrality.
All right. Like like we need to stop this shit. Like real shit. Like this needs to be stopped. This
I never
nonsense,
go to the doctor,
bullshit of us
and
being
I recover from illnesses. But there has been about 2 or 3 times in my life where I needed one of those. What do they call them? A Z-Pack?
Yeah.
Yep.
Because
You
otherwise,
go
it
be
wasn't
bang that
getting better.
scabby chick, man. Yeah, man. You pissing fire out your fucking penis. You're gonna need a Z-Pack. It is what it is.
Well, dude, my old roommate was literally brought back to life in front of the house and stuff. Dude, he actually had like acute respiratory syndromes and stuff. He was trying to use like this like holistic thing and stuff, and eventually it's like, dude, man, you fucking can't breathe and stuff like that. Call the freaking ambulance and stuff. Like the paramedics show up and everything, and of course the
What
cops
did they do,
show up.
slap
And
him
they're
with an
like,
EpiPen?
is he on drugs? I'm like, no, he literally has like wicked bad asthma and stuff. Like there's out there. I'm calling his dad and everything, and it's like, oh no, this happens and everything, man. And then I'm sitting there, I'm like, they're literally, I hear them say, it's like, get the adrenaline. It's like freaking like trying to like restart his heart because literally like he had stopped breathing. And it's like, I'm talking with a cop, I'm like, is my friend gonna die? He's like, oh no, they're great at getting folks going.
Have we ever considered maybe the fact that we shouldn't like be promoting females over 30 having children, so that shit kind of like has less of a chance of happening?
Dude, modern medicine, dude, there are gals that are like in their early 40s and stuff, and they're having happy, like healthy kids and stuff like that. Or at least that's what I think ex-Mrs. Means gynecologist told her.
No, that's the reason why we have the rise in autism. Your opportunities for having a problem with a child with problems, it goes exponentially up after the age of 30.
As I'm not a doctor,
because your vagina is like
I hear, aren't there ways we can kind of?
No, you can't.
There's
Look,
always a
after
chance,
you
man. I
use your
hear what you're
vagina,
saying.
you know what I mean?
If you're looking at studies, it's
every gangbanger in the fucking hood has tagged that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? It is not capable of creating, you know what I'm saying, a proper human being.
I mean, that sounds like more of a prolapse
Oh,
issue.
what the fuck is Disney doing right now?
Uh-oh.
They're dropping like a rock. That's what they're doing. Fucking Disney.
Netflix is too.
Dude, I think right now what's happening, because I think Gary, who used to own a comic shop, was talking about this earlier. Apparently, it sounds like they're having a rights argument, because a lot of these like releases and content that's supposed to come out, like I think they're trying to shift it all to Disney Plus or a different form, like a Disney Bonus Plus or something. They're trying to figure out their revenue stream for like at least the next few months, and so they're reconstructing their whole business model, I would imagine.
Yeah, and
people don't know.
They can't prepare their movies and shit, so like they don't have future revenue generating.
Yeah.
They're not, and like nobody's betting on them to be able to produce content because they don't know when they're gonna be able to produce it. Anyway, but like, man, look, that's kind of where I'm at. I'm like, look, we should not be sacrificing the younger generation to save the older. That's my basic mentality.
Okay. Well, no, and okay. What do you consider essential businesses? Is McDonald's essential to your life?
I'm mad.
No, not one bit.
You're fucking right.
It's a restaurant.
Yeah,
It's a
you
shitty
need double
restaurant.
cheeseburger.
Not me.
Yo, Big Macs are life, son.
Oh, I love double cheeseburgers. And Jesse, you look so freaking young when you shave.
I know.
I'm just like, it looks like a different person, man.
You know what? When I started going out with my son's mother back in the day, her sister met me, and she was his mom is like 5 years older than me. So she said, "Isn't he a little old for you?" Because she thought I was in my 40s. And that was when I was like 28, 20s. I was like, "No, she's older than me."
Yeah, I went from 18 to 45 too. Like that happens to a lot of us.
I got off the school bus and went into the package store. Neither one of them had an issue with it. Actually, the bus driver asked me the next day, "Did you just get off this bus and go into the liquor store?" It's like, no.
Yeah, not to be racist or anything, but see, like Tom's the type of guy you like to have your back, just because if anything goes down, like it doesn't matter what's around, he's going to arm himself immediately and have your back.
Yo, man, I'm gonna hit a motherfucker with an alley biscuit immediately.
No,
Arms
no,
length.
I'm
We have an arm's length for zombies.
I got my shotgun's
On
about
you,
2 arms lengths away
motherfucker.
right now.
Well, that's the thing. There's a lot of
Yo.
things like, okay, if I am lying prone, which D&D tells us that your opponent gets a +4, you want to have immediate access to something that can defend yourself, and you can get a surprise attack. Well, I got some non-lethal, I got some lethal and stuff like that. And you just go through the priorities. You initially stun, and then you work from there.
What if you tell the cop that my machete is non-lethal because I haven't sharpened it in years?
I feel like my uncle.
Okay. Technical difficulties, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
I fell into a time warp. Okay, I think I'm catching up. No, I got polypropylene gladiuses. They're 2.8 pounds each, but I watched a dude on YouTube crack a concrete block in half with it.
That's cool.
That should be able to break bone. And that's the thing. No, you do the old Marine thing, come around somewhere here, you cut off the blood supply, basically person's legs drop out, so you've stunned them.
Just like Spock.
Oh, he did that?
Yeah, the Vulcan pinch.
Oh.
The neck pinch.
Oh, he's got cool ears.
See, everything comes around eventually. Star Trek was right about everything. Just the original series, though.
Is this going to be... I think this is an opportunity for humanity. Here's the thing. Because a wise libertarian once told me that the only way you can solve like the issue that might be humanity is to get everybody into literally the same room together. And I'm like, well, that's technically physically impossible to get like 7 billion people into a room. I mean, like maybe at some point in the future we can construct that. But right now, guess what? Pretty much most everybody, at least the folks that have access to the internet, are on the internet. Let's hash some shit out. Let's figure this out.
Like Anthony from Dark Gift. Anybody know him? Anyway, I think people are frozen. But if anybody could hear me right now, dude is chill as shit, right? He's always like, yeah, man. Like he's one of those laid back cats. So it's like he's arguing with this dude on Twitter. I'm like, dude, this ain't the person for you to be talking to. Twitter is like a boxing match. And it's assumed that way. Like you can't have conversations with people on the internet. It just doesn't work like that. Are we all here?
Yeah, no, I've been here the whole time. I was just letting you talk. I didn't want to cut you off. But, I don't know. Memes, what are you going to do with your money? Because, what, you're going to fly to Florida for the 10th time this year?
Oh, well, if I did that, I'd be put into quarantine for 2 weeks, I think. Oh, wait, I'm not coming from New York. No, it looks like they're shutting down major air travel and stuff, so it's like, well, what are you gonna do? It's like you just chill out, you occupy your time like we're doing right now, and try to be productive.
Hey, without YouTube and being able to talk to each other, this would be a lot more frightening, I'll tell you that.
It's more isolation. This is the thing. No, dude,
because it's like we're talking to people from all four corners of the country, let alone the world, and you get to see, what's going on. What's going on in Arizona? What's going on in Florida? What's going on in Wisconsin? You know what I mean? It's like, on one hand, it adds weight to everything because it's like, like your fucking video target with the TP shortage, right? Like, it's the same all over, and that makes things more worrisome. But on the other hand, to be able to talk to each other about these things and compare and contrast and try to come up with a couple of ideas here, it's a little more soothing in a way.
Well, that's the thing. Nobody knows what's really going on. If you can talk to other people and get their experience, you can try to put together, okay, what's going on. That's why it's like, yeah, I'm showing the great toilet paper shortage of 2020 at Target, but then I go around the corner, I'm like, all right, there's a crap ton of food and we even have Capri Sun, so I have drink selection as well. So it's like, all right, as long as there's food and stuff on the shelves, I think we're going to be okay. It's when you see everything that's barren, that's when you should really be concerned. You just go there, you buy a little bit extra, just stock up over time. It's like, I also realize that we're in the United States here, and of all the places in the world, we're probably in the best position in reality to deal with a lot of this stuff. And we are also finding a lot of stuff out, because even the president was highlighting, he's like, our system wasn't necessarily designed for this. And I can believe that. I can believe that. So now it's like...
Yeah, he hit it on the head when he said this country wasn't made to stop running.
Exactly. And that is the terrifying thing, and gives to some of my fears why we may potentially see either just a major recession or potentially even some form of depression, because if you look at how all these companies within the United States and just even abroad and stuff, everybody owes everybody money. So as soon as, if you stop the machine, which it looks like we're stopping the entire world more or less for like a month to 2 months. This is what we're doing. And what's that going to have an effect on? It's like, well, if I remember initially, it's like, okay, what the United States market dropped 6,000 points. It's like, okay, let's take a look. All right, if we're shut down for a month, 1 out of 12 is like 8.5%. I calculate the market decline. All right, it was like 10.5%. I'm like, well, I don't know. I don't know. What do they know? Who knows anything? It's just doing the best we can, man.
Well, no, and
People are really using the stock market right now, I think, because there's 3 different ones. One of them I bought 20 shares of yesterday, and I ordered another 20. And then there was 2 other companies, so 3 companies total. I couldn't get a buy from today. I was trying to buy it. It's 4 o'clock now. It's about to close. There's still unfulfilled orders.
That is, huh?
A lot of orders, other orders went through. I bought some Halliburton just a little bit, just because it was fun, because it was at 666.
Well, it would depend on the individual investment office that you were going through. As long as the order is placed before market close, as long as it's placed correctly, it goes through. Or at least when I used to work for a company that used to manage mutual funds as an intern, that's what we did.
I use Robinhood, and they cancel it out. You could have the option of having it ongoing, or you could have the option of closing it out at the end of the stock close the next day at 4ish. Yeah. So I do that just to keep my shit clean.
Right.
They make it like super user friendly though after it starts working.
Well, this is the thing. It's like, all right, at certain points, my mind's actually kind of going to like where 40 was saying. It's like, all right, if all of a sudden you get money, it's like, well, what are you going to invest in? You can invest in toilet paper. You're going to get like a TV or something. It's like, my mind's starting to go where to take like VP Biden's advice he had given before, and go and purchase a shotgun.
Do you know how to use a shotgun?
I am not very proficient with using a shotgun. I fired them at the range like a little bit. I think it was only like
at least with a shotgun, you don't have to be accurate.
Yeah, look, shotgun, if you can aim at your front door, you already won.
Yeah. I mean, I would suggest...
You don't even have to open said door. You just shoot right through the fucking thing.
Yeah. Get a Mossberg 500.
My
12 gauge.
Well, the thing is, it's like I live in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, so technically it's like there ain't no castle doctrine. Technically, I have a duty to retreat upstairs to my bedroom and be lying prone in my closet.
With your asshole up in the air, presenting.
Well, I mean, I might be leaning, but I don't think I would raise my asshole because I wouldn't want to blow
That's part of the law. That's part of that retreat law. You have to try to present first to try to quell the situation.
I don't think that's
that's
actually
what the
in
shotgun
the
was for. That's what I'm presenting.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying. I'm presenting. Here it is.
I'm more of a fan. I don't even think they should have to call it. If somebody's on your fucking property, there's no reason to be on your property.
Oh, hell, Virginia's got
outside, inside, I don't care.
Well, no. This are protocols.
And
it's like
the thing about
you're supposed to warn people.
Fuck
it's like,
that.
Get the heck out.
Fuck
well, dude,
that.
if somebody's charging at your front door, like, yeah, that might be one thing. It's the whole come right for us principle. But it's like, if somebody just, like, is jogging by, you don't start taking pop shots at them. Just be like, get off my lawn.
Yeah, but you know the threat.
The element of surprise is very important.
Well, no.
Sorry, Bear
that's
Dog.
no,
Are
no.
you good, man?
That is one of the things, but it's
Okay, alright, first off, a warning. That would be the no trespassing sign at the edge of your property. There's their warning. Now, they're on your property. In the state of Oregon, we're open carry. You come on my property without permission or a warrant, and I can blow your face off. That's just end of story.
now.
Done
No,
deal.
I thought the warning was, "Hey, don't come on my fucking property," or "Hey, don't go on other people's properties."
The warning is, hey, ever seen Gran Torino?
Exactly.
All I know is I was playing paintball with some friends in like the state forest once, and I accidentally walked onto somebody's property, and they were kind of out like cutting their lawn, and they see this dude all geared up with basically a small compact rifle looking. Yeah, it's got the freaking hopper and shit on it, but it's like I saw the
It looks
person,
like
I'm kind of like
Red
and then I just kind of go back into the state forest looking for
Well, it's
my
Massachusetts.
opponents.
They don't.
What?
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, if somebody was in another state and that happened, and somebody just reaches over to their side holster in their frickin' lawnmower or something and blows you away, then again, to be fair, I was technically armed.
But you technically know what a threat is. Like, there's body language. There's a whole
This
bunch
is why
of shit.
training is important. Not
I-
everyone has
Okay,
that training.
alcohol plays into this too because there's a long time ago when my buddy's dad, my buddy, he lived between Naugatuck and Prospect in Connecticut, right? So he goes back up to Prospect to his pop's house. It's late, and they're both drunk. So he goes in through the garage. His father hears some scuffling. So he goes up, he gets the door open, and his father's standing there already aimed at the door, and he's like, robbers don't use keys, Dad. And he was like, yeah, that's true. And they went back into the living room. That's fucked up.
Yeah.
That actually happened.
No, dude, I can absolutely believe that.
Robbers don't use
Well, no,
Like, yeah,
and
you open the door.
Matt Barkley in the chat says he wants an AR, but it's a pain in the ass to get one in New York. New York is a pain in the ass to buy any gun, but from what I hear, DC just made it illegal for anybody to conceal carry or even buy a gun in the District of Columbia.
That's just they don't want them to go
wow.
to the Capitol building. Straight up.
Yeah, but like 3 blocks away from the White House is like gang territory where they all have fucking guns and they're all
That's where you
shooting
go
each
to get
other.
where you go to get your gun. You go up, you just be like, look, I'll give you $500 if you get me this, and I'll meet you here with the money. How fast can you have it?
I don't believe that's legal.
No, but it's a great way to get a shotgun.
I mean, you could also just fill out the application.
I can't. I went down to the police station. I don't have a pistol permit. I was always lazy about it because I figured, it's too fucking comfy around here and I don't need it yet. So I go down to get a pistol permit. They got the police station quarantine. They're like, try back in 2 weeks. I'm like, you can't walk your ass down that staircase and hand me something, a packet through the door. For real?
Don't they have like a PDF file or something?
Yeah, it's a packet to fill out. That's your first step.
But wouldn't it be easier just like
They have to
don't
hand
they
it to
take
you
the
for
packet
something.
and put it into their systems and stuff? Wouldn't it be easier if it was?
You're using this thing you got called a brain. In Connecticut, we have these things called liberal politicians. They're not going to make it easier or more user-friendly.
Connecticut is very nice, but gas tends to be more expensive.
You tend to lie to be nice. I could see that. Connecticut sucks. It's okay. We know it sucks.
I have friends in Connecticut.
I
I
have
watched the
friends
Three
in Connecticut,
Stooges.
too.
It was fun.
I want to
cooked a
come
bunch
up
of
to
meat.
Matt's for some of those shops you guys have opened.
We've got some interesting things over here. Although actually, Governor Baker he just declared
His name is Governor Baker.
Yes.
And he just opened a pot shops.
No. He's our Republican governor over here because we're massholes. So it's like we like progressive policies. We believe in doing it well, and we have a habit of electing a Republican governor.
to do it
So-
for you. Yeah. I see
Yeah,
how it
well,
is.
I mean, well, dude, here's the thing. Massachusetts is, and this is maybe something that I've kind of missed for a while. It's like we used to have like St. Patrick's Day, and you'd have Republicans and Democrats, and they'd all be drinking and singing and stuff together. So it's like you still acknowledge the other person's humanity, even if you vehemently disagreed with them. So
Now it's just down to punch you in the face.
this is why I'm like, all right, do we need to bring back dueling? It's like if people are good, if universal truth number one, people ruin everything. It's like, well, what if we incentive gave a route for those people that are ruining things, and if they really want to, consenting adults want to harm each other, well, maybe there'd be less people. I mean, it's a very negative thing. You don't want that to happen, but gives a way for people to vent their beefs and leave everyone else alone. But
Well, and how big are these states anyway? Can't you throw a rock and hit the next state over?
I mean, maybe if you're the Hulk. It's
3
possible.
hours, I could get to wherever he lives in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're on your way
Right.
with the Louisville Slugger. Gotcha.
Same thing with Rhode Island. Basically, if you live in Connecticut, it's 3 hours to any neighboring state to where somebody actually might live. Like I got to Pete's house in about 3.5 hours.
Right. Well, that's actually Pete's bud, the Philly captain. It's like I started sharing like some of his videos onto like the NewsQuest page and stuff like that because he's walking around Philly, and it's like they were given the recommendation that all non-essential businesses shut down. He's like, I wonder if the pawn shop's still open. The pawn shop was still open. The hookah smoke shop was still open. I'm like, oh, these are essential services and everything. So
You can't get nicotine, your shit's getting broken into.
well,
It's gonna happen.
gas stations are open. Well, Governor Baker on Monday, he literally said that all non-essential businesses. So what they did is the recreational pot shops have to close, but the medical ones,
They stay open.
the state $200.
Well, no, and
cigarettes.
that's another thing. The non-essential businesses. I mean, they have all the fast food open. Even the sit-down restaurants had to switch over to takeout. So what? You can go. How does Hometown Buffet sell food still? Like, hey, here's 10 plates of food. Take it home with you.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of these places, like I was talking to somebody before, and they're like a manager at a Carl's Jr. And the Carl's Jr. They're like, yeah, they're doing the like curbside pickup and stuff, but it's like it's killing their business and stuff because they're mostly for like lunches and dinners and stuff like that. That's when they get the crowd. If you gotta like do pickup, your first thought, my first thought goes like, oh, Wendy's, Taco Bell, something like that. It's like, okay, those are my thoughts. McDonald's, not, oh, let's go get something from Carl's Jr. or frickin' like an actual like other restaurant. I mean, you can still do it. I've still done it to like some of like the different local delis and everything. But it's like, dude, it's killing their businesses. It's just, dude, my primary care physician, literally, my mom goes to the same doctor, and it's like, go in there, and there's like a note. It's like, we're closed until further notice because it's just a family practice. So I'm not sure if he's doing something, if he's back like with his family or something. It's like dentist offices are closing down because they need like the PPE, the personal protective equipment and stuff, the masks, the gloves and stuff. So it's like, dude, there's so much uncertainty. It's like, well, we'll go to your doctor. My doctor's closed. Nani? I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, no, and you guys are back east, and I just, closest I got was the Gulf of Mexico, Louisiana, but I did notice a different culture down there from the West Coast. Over here in Oregon, we're not really that worried. Seriously, we're not freaking out. Maybe they are in Portland, but they freak out in Portland over everything.
Honestly, I don't think people are freaking out. I don't think I've seen anybody legitimately freak out.
There are altercations and stuff, but a lot altercations do always happen, and
I mean,
usually
like,
highlight them if they kind of go along with what we're trying to show.
like what memes was saying. Like I saw a video about a guy trying to buy 33 cases of Mountain Dew or some shit out in white trash country where I'm from, and they were refused, and they started freaking the fuck out. That's all I've really seen is people getting upset about a situation, not like people freaking out saying we're all gonna fucking die or something. I haven't seen that very much.
Yeah.
See, if I was going to buy 33 cases of one thing, I would call first.
I go to Costco for some
Um,
shit.
Well, update from my Discord. Akeen, he's a Norwegian fellow, that's in Discord. He just said that, gas stations in Italy might be shutting down. If that happens, then Italy is at a standstill, literally. I mean, you're not going to be able to truck any medical supplies anywhere with no gas stations.
They'd probably still, you would hope for logistical supply chains. They would still have access for fuel depots and stuff. But no, that is one of the worrying things that I was actually kind of afraid of here. Because it's like, all right, now, as long as you can have food and you're able to get fuel and stuff, it's like, all right, just don't go to work. That sucks because you need to earn a living, you need to pay bills and stuff like that. So it's like, that sucks, but as long as people are eating and still have their residences, basically a place to go, I think we're okay. It's as soon as you start cutting down, okay, fuel transit, well, I need gas, I need to do this, I need to do that, I want to go somewhere. All of a sudden now you're limiting people's means of travel, and that's, at least over here, people get very concerned.
Well, yeah, and I don't remember which one of you said it, but somebody said that they're thinking about shutting down all the domestic airlines now. That's why I flew home early. I flew home 3 days early because I saw that Oregon was going to go into lockdown. Louisiana was already in voluntary lockdown, which is just a step before the governor makes it official. You know what I mean? So I left. That way I didn't get stuck there. I have a wife and kids. I had to get home. But if they shut down all travel, does that mean they're going to lock down the state borders as well for car travel?
That is basically the kind of thought. It's like, okay, so what happens? We are these United States of America, but what happens if all of a sudden it's, and this is something that technically the government could do because it was the Interstate Commerce Clause. I don't know, because if anybody could be potentially a carrier of something and not have symptoms and not even necessarily be able to know from it within a couple of days, it's like I don't know. What do you do? This is, and that's when it starts to really seem like a certain level of tyranny. That's why I think things have kind of ratcheted up and people are really trying to take this seriously now so we don't get to that part, because I don't know, man. Like, that's the type of stuff that really scares me. Like, when my brother sent me a picture that one of his friends said of, like, tank movements. I'm like, a bunch of tanks on a train? I'm like, wait, Florida? I'm like, they're just kids on the beach. I was partying with some of those kids, like, 2 weeks ago. Yes, I'm one of those terrible people. But, dude, all I know, man, is apparently that was just standard movements for down there because they do a bunch of drills. So I'm like, okay, that was told to me by someone else. Like, Humvees don't bother me, but if we were to start doing that bothers me.
What do you guys think, Jesse and Wolfshot? Do you think they'll shut down the borders and lock down the United States completely?
I would hope so. But then again, I think they should do that anyway. Fuck everybody else.
Didn't they already
the
do
normal
that?
way.
Didn't we shut down our borders already?
Technically.
Well, I'm not talking about international borders. I'm talking about state to state.
Oh, within the United States?
Like
no,
domestic
they'll
travel.
they'll never be able to do that because they could shut down the airlines to be safe for a time being, but they'll never be able to stop all the cars on the road.
But that was the thing. Okay, if we were to entertain this idea, how would one go about that? You basically use like state police or potential.
You're talking about like Resident Evil fucking checkpoints?
Oh,
Yeah, you know what?
I haven't played Res Evil.
You would need the military, and
Yeah.
quite frankly, they're Americans. That's
well, that's
not what they fucking signed up for. Thank
well,
you very much. They
exactly.
signed up to go fuck up other countries that are all backwards and fucked up. They signed up to protect American lives. They're not going to be here to be a police state for America, so I'm not afraid of that.
Now again, what if it was set up in a way that, okay, let's say you had to work, you have like a work badge or something, you have something like, because even I think in one of my friends told me that in her state that she literally
Say that one more time.
so that basically she had have papers and stuff, kind of like they did, I think, in, was it Spain or something? Like if you're going out there, I am traveling for work. You go to the checkpoint. They just want non-essential. Like if I want to go up to the New Hampshire Mall, they might say we don't want you up here in New Hampshire right now.
Yeah, a friend of mine
please
actually
go
got
home.
papers from her job saying that it said in the paper, you're essential, you have to travel to work, et cetera, et cetera. So she's got her papers.
I mean, we're already kind of there.
Like Nazi Germany there? Is that what you're trying to say, memes? Or what?
All I know is I heard Jimmy Dore the other day say, "Where all my libertarians at?" And he's like, "Oh, you're poking fun." He's like, "Well, they're libertarians. They can take it." But it is very interesting that a lot of folks are kind of promoting things heavily one way that, I don't know, when S hits the fan, they seem to, I don't know. I'm just
Like what do you mean? Like, can you elaborate on that? Like what?
certain folks of maybe more conservative natures that when it comes to this, it's like, again, I find it interesting that it's under a Republican in President Trump where, in my opinion, the Second Amendment was infringed upon, and now we're passing Andrew Yang's prime directive.
Oh, you mean the Republicans taking the bailout checks and shit, promoting socialism, etc. Yeah, I got that. Yeah. It is a bit hypocritical, I will say.
You know, but it's like, okay, does anyone else have a better idea right now? I mean, Boris Johnson, like the whole, like, well, let's just let it pass through and everything. It's like, well, hey, power to the NHS. If the NHS can take that spike and everything, Boris Johnson will likely be a hero. Apparently, 5 or 6 days later, he completely changed his mind and locked everything down. So I don't think he's going to be in the UK Parliament much longer, in my opinion. But I don't know, man. It's about that healthcare strain. It's like you don't, and that's what they're doing those ships for. It's like those ships ain't for folks infected with the virus or anything. No, they don't want the virus on the ship. That's for in case somebody has a heart attack, gets into an accident, because it's literally a floating hospital. Like that's what they're geared for. Like I think was it one of Arthur's
Oh,
family
you saw
members.
that floating hospital?
Dude, those things are can like
They call it the
desalinate
Mercy or something?
30,000 gallons of salt water an hour. Like
Yeah.
that is nuts.
I like
The one
that
on the
idea,
East
though.
Coast is called the Comfort. It's based out of Naval Station Norfolk, my backyard. That's a pretty cool fucking ship.
They have to have some terribly badass security on those ships, though, I tell you.
Dude, our
You're
base
like a video game mission trying to get onto that when you're not supposed to be. Get the shit shot out of you. But I like the idea that they're taking these ships and they're like, okay, these are the non-plague ships, okay? These are where you go when you're not sick but you need help. It's big and white and covered in red crosses. You should be able to see it.
All right, I think my connection's dying. I'm actually going to pop out. Good to see you all. We'll see you, Mad. We'll see you, Wolfshot. We'll see you, Jesse.
Glad to see you
Hey,
smile,
man.
bro.
Later,
Hey,
memes.
guys. Hey, stay safe and long live the elbow bump.
Extreme thumbs up.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Like, where's all the libertarians at? I'm over here yelling that we're spending way too much money for 3 months and it's going to create hyperinflation. But then again, I'm not stupid. I have to take the money. We all have to take it because they're making us stay at home.
It's a thing of no one likes it, but it's what's the fuck is happening right now. Now, I think we could fix a lot of this situation by when this is all over and shit goes back to normalcy a little bit. We just basically go on TV and say, hey, China, remember that debt? Fuck yourself. End the broadcast.
Do you think
I think
the
every
president would do that?
I think every country should. Every single fucking country on this planet that's had one case of this fucking Wu flu should tell China to go fuck themselves and eat a bag of dicks. I think they should be cut off from every other fucking country and let them handle their own fucking shit if they want to do shit like this. Fine, everybody's back and lie about it to the tune of thousands and thousands of deaths. I mean, look at Italy. It's like bring out your fucking dead over there. I was busting some people's balls in Spain the other day, and then the next day 400 people there died, and it's like, oh, now I'm the asshole. Sorry.
You're right. It's like Black Death. They're rolling by with the carts going on in Rome right now.
That's how it's going to be, though. And you know who has those fucking carts? Who pulled those carts? Guys who already had the plague. So they're walking around in your town with the plague. Do you think it's going to be any different than this? They could put some healthy guy out there. You take some army guy and put him out there. That's a waste.
Well, and what was up with that bullshit? Hug a freaking Chinese person?
Yeah, while you're like, and they go lick all the deodorant in the Target and get arrested for domestic terrorism, like that stupid jackass wherever he was.
It's insane. This is gonna fall on the president's shoulders. If we come out the other end somewhat okay, then he'll probably be reelected. But if we fall on our faces, which is, let's face it, we're America, we're probably going to fall flat on our face. We might end up with a Democrat in office.
Not possible.
No, I'm a Democrat,
this is
and I can
the
tell you
crisis time or time of war. It's not going to happen.
Sorry.
If everything fell to shit, Trump will get elected twice as easily. Mark my words.
Trump's going to get elected regardless. I don't give a fuck what happens. I'm a Democrat. I know this. He's going to get elected regardless. It doesn't fucking matter.
If you're a Democrat, I'm sorry, and you should just give up on those assholes now.
No,
because it's going to be a new structure in the future. There's not going to be a Democratic Party anymore.
There probably won't. I'm probably not even
I'm not really a Republican. I like Trump. I didn't like Bush.
Liberal. How about that? I'm classically liberal. I'm not like super progressive.
Yeah, but are you liberal like, everybody's got to be they, them, and let's make everybody act like they're fucking bonkers? Are you liberal like, do you think people should get like, help when they're elderly and blah, 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 and there should be like things for kids with disabilities, and that's me, that's being a liberal. The shit they got now is fucking insanity, and it's taking the liberal name down this rabbit hole where you got to be ashamed to say I'm a liberal, because if you're liberal, there's a scale. I can never remember the name of it, but it slid far
I know what you're talking
to
about.
both sides. And nothing makes sense anymore in a classical sense. So all the parties do need to be redone. The Republicans are essentially the Trump party at this point. The old dissenting Republican view that you see in all the 80s movies with the guy who's like, I object. That's done. That's gone. And the Democrats are they got too many pussies. Pussies with voices. Free speech for the dumb, just like the Misfits said.
Well, I like pussy, so I love
pussy, but not in that manner.
I'm very old school. I'm a lesbian. I'm very old school. The they them kind of
That's
thing.
That's pretty
hot. I'm gay redneck essentially, and kind of, and it's very the they them pronoun, the whole LGBTQ plus A bullshit. I don't understand. I don't cotton to it. So I don't know. I'm very middle of the road. When I say Democrat, I'm very like classically liberal, I guess. I don't know. So,
you're not in a box.
Yeah. But I know Trump is my president, and I know that he's going to get elected again. There's no mistake. And they are lying to themselves if they think he's not going to get elected.
Yeah, seriously. But you know what the difference is between you and these people? They're definitely afraid of it for some reason.
I can actually have discourse with people of opposing mindsets. And
yeah, but like, has
anything
Trump really done like feel like the world is ending to you? Like anything?
Honestly, it feels like George Bush again, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. George Bush wasn't
sucked, though.
he wasn't that bad, though. He really wasn't that bad.
He lowered the bar a lot.
No, he wasn't
Trump
bad.
has done really well.
Well, George Bush is the only Republican I can remember, I can actually remember, as opposed to his father or Reagan. I don't remember any of that shit.
How old are you?
32.
Yeah, I'm 30. I just turned 37. I remember Bush Sr. as well, and I thought he was a joke. He always seemed like a weird guy to me. It's not that he seemed like good or bad to me as a kid. He just seemed like a weird guy, and later on knowing about Skull and Bones and all that. And I realized that he was a weird guy.
So, I mean, George Bush is the one I can remember the most. So that's where I can compare Trump and Bush pretty firmly in my mind. So it's not, I don't think Trump has done anything like, oh my God, ostentatious, we have to impeach him for. I knew that was going to fall through anyways. They didn't have anything. So people, liberals, Democrats, whatever, progressives think that, we're going to get a candidate and it's going to be a Democrat. No, he's going to get reelected. I don't give a shit what happens. The whole economy could go in the shitter and he's going to get reelected. Seriously, you're playing yourself if you don't think he will. In my opinion, Mad Dog.
Yeah, no, when it comes to the parties, I'm a libertarian, so, I'm batshit crazy. But I really look at it from a conservative slant the older I get. So I understand what Trump is. Trump is a Reagan Democrat. He is a New York businessman. He is a Reagan Democrat. He is not a Republican. But they have moved the Overton window so far to make us all believe he is a Republican. And maybe that's just my opinion, but that's where I stand on it.
Now, Matt's saying modern Republicans aren't even conservative, most of them anyway, and that's true. Look at me. Look at me. Just look at me.
Well, no, and there was a Facebook thing going around saying that the governor of Oregon was shutting down all the weed shops, and everybody was wigging out. So that's where Oregon's at right now. They're like, wait, you're shutting down the weed shop? And now we have a fucking problem. Like, that's essential. It's just, I don't know. I don't understand where they're putting essential and non-essential. Okay, like, I have really bad teeth. I had my wife set up an appointment for after I got back from Louisiana to have my teeth pulled and get fucking fake teeth. I can't even do that now because the dentist is not essential. But god damn it, I can still get my Taco Bell and my fucking weed.
Well, with dentists and shit and their nurses, they're in your mouth. I mean, that is a vector of disease. Like, full blown. I mean, they still have emergency dental surgeons at the hospital, but they don't have dentists because, I mean, the risk for them is probably more so, I guess. Because they're in your fucking mouth, I would imagine.
That's how Doc Holliday got tuberculosis. Somebody bit his ass.
So, I mean, I can understand dentists shutting down. I mean, I don't know. Like, essential and non-essential, I think it differs in every state, doesn't it? Or is that a CDC thing? I don't fucking know.
Hey, Mad Dodge, can you do me a favor? Can you put the camera in the other view so I don't feel like claustrophobic?
There you go.
Buttons. There. That feels normal.
There you go.
Which side is which?
Did you panic buy cigarettes?
I got most of a carton of Marlboros.
God, I miss
and I still got 2 packs of L&M's.
Nice. Yeah, I panic bought fucking dipping tobacco like you wouldn't believe.
Well, no one wants to be going through a nicotine fit because that's more likely to make it just be like, fuck everybody. Here's my axe. I'm gonna go chop some shit down.
Yeah, someone was like, well, why don't you just quit, man? Why don't you just take this time to quit? And I'm like, are you fucking serious? You know how stressed out I'd be? Like, I'm stressed out already, but...
Yeah, you want me to ignite this match even faster than it's already going to without me?
Exactly. It's like they should make weed legal so everybody would be calm.
They should. They should pass that shit out like cookies.
Hell yeah.
I think that the government should give everyone a stipend of Mary Jane every month.
I'd pay for that.
Yeah, I'd pay for it.
You're like, I'll pay taxes for that. That's fine.
Hell yeah. Tell me where to sign. Shit.
Yep. The QP a month club. You could have tiers based on usage. You just sign it on your tax form.
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah.
Then, some guy in a suit would be like, hello, sir. Here's your delivery. Like, thank you, my good chap. Have a good day, sir.
Them weed shops are essential, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't see today's announcement, but I'm guessing it was just mainly about the bill that they forced through. When do you think this money is going to start going out to people? They said the 6th of next month checks should be out, but they said that like a week ago.
I'm going to be incendiary, and I'm going to say we'd already had that money in our damn bank accounts if it wasn't for that goddamn Pelosi. But no, that's not true. I'm not sure, man. It could be any amount of time. Who's to say? I still got to call my accountant to do my fucking taxes. You think he's at work? Hell no.
Yeah, I don't foresee seeing that money anytime soon, honestly. I mean, I know the bill passed, but it's still going to take some time to fucking print that money. You know what I mean?
Where is this money coming from? I get it, fiat currency, it comes from thin air. I understand.
Fucking air.
Yeah, but we have to pay for it somehow. And who are we borrowing it from? Every other country's doing the same shit.
China.
Damn, I already had 20 shares of this. I was trying to buy 20 more and it didn't go through. Nobody was selling it. By the way, little tip out there, what I'm doing right now, I'm not experienced in stocks. So what I'm doing is I'm simply going back to the overall picture of all the different ones. And if you go for a year, most of them started going down hard about February 17th. So I'm using February 17th as a marker to see what they were before then. Then before then for the year, I find the low point, and that will be my ceiling, so to say, of what I might expect. And then I'm seeing the ratio of like the graph could look severe, but some of them might be first off, before night year, you want them to be relatively steady. But some of them it will look severe and it will be a difference of 20 cents. Some of them it will look severe and it's a difference of, well, now it's $2. It was $17. Ooh, I want that. Give me some of that multiplier. I think it's going to be I wish I could have put more money into this right now. Or should have.
Well, when you get those Trump bucks, you'll have more money. No, and Ace in the chat, or Bearded Bastard as he's going by, the money is coming from you. Not necessarily. I think it's more or less coming from my kids.
Well, the whole thing that gives our American dollar value is faith in the dollar, because we haven't been backed up by gold in a long time. Most of the faith in the American dollar comes from our ability to produce grain, because we're the biggest food producer, and no one can really take that away from us unless everybody stops doing it. So
that could be an interesting. Actually, real quick, let's think that out.
That on this channel?
Oh, I've talked about the Fed before, yeah. But no, let's think this out because the majority of the population that is farmers are the older demographics. So if this virus kills them off and their kids sell the land off, who's going to be left to grow?
Well, a lot of those farmers' kids move away too. They don't want to be dealing with all that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Most of that inheritance would come down to them, and they just sell the land off. But to who? Somebody who wants to create a housing complex or another farmer? Because once again, our schools aren't holding 4-H very much anymore. You don't have a new generation of farmers coming up like you did in the past.
They would have to consider that some kind of critical infrastructure, which it is, because we need food. And they would have to make it so that you can only sell that as a business transfer sale and not a personal transfer sale where they could subdivide it to make housing, to make another neighborhood. Because if they did it where you had to have a business-to-business transfer and then had like a clause in there where you had to own this business for at least 2 years before selling it again, or you can only sell this as a business-to-business transfer, that would make it a little safer, but that's another thing where you're putting more rules on people. So you're the libertarian. What do you think of that?
Well, I don't think the government should be regulating the personal transfer of property at all. But Ace and Matt are saying plenty of farmers still. Not necessarily. If you look at the school programs, they have cut 4-H out of most school curriculums. Most people are moving to the highly dense population centers like LA, New York, Chicago, Philly, etc. The farmers you're talking about and you still see are like family farms or big corporate farms. Farms owned by giant mega corporations who just buy up large areas of land and hire the illegal immigrants to farm it. Okay, that's not a family farm. That's something different. Or am I wrong there? Go ahead. I mean,
it all just falls down to the versus of true free market versus things that might have to be considered infrastructure. It's a tough line to walk because at the same time we make national parks where you can't do anything. You know what I mean? Because it's like you have to have this balance, and it's extremely difficult.
Well, no, and that's the interesting part too. Like, okay, everybody shelter in place and don't go outside. Try and stay away from people. By the way, camping is now illegal in all national forests in Oregon. Where are the homeless people supposed to go? Just a question, because Oregon has like the third highest homeless population in the country. Where are all these people supposed to go? You just outlawed camping, and you told them not to congregate together. So there goes the mission. Well, I know it isn't, but if you can't gather at a mission because you can't have more than 50 people grouped together, and they stack the Eugene mission up to capacity every night, then maybe dispersing in the woods would be a better solution, right?
That's just the thing, though. If you like, this is a long one, man, because you're going like people who want to bug out versus homeless people. The people who are going to bug out, if you're bugging out properly, no one should know where the fuck you are in the first place to find you to bother you about it. But if you're going on the homeless situation, it's like one of my best friends was homeless for over a year down in Baltimore, of all places. Total shit area to be homeless in. It's a giant city, and it's a very high murder rate down there. It's a very violent place. And side note, people who think they need to be bussed to go vote, they could go fuck themselves. There's no such thing as election suppression in that manner, because being homeless, he made it from one end of Baltimore to the other end of Baltimore by himself on foot, and he voted. So there you go. But the way he got out of it was he went to a church. They had a program to help people out. He got himself a cot, and that was enough to get his ass back in the workforce. You got to have fucking drive. You can't be one of these people who are like, oh, this is my rebellion against society, so I'm going to sit outside your gated community in a tent and shoot dope all day while there's rats running around and there's people trying to raise babies out here because they're fucking losers. I mean, there's a very hard dichotomy in homeless people. There's people that got fucked and they're trying to get back into normalcy, and there's people who are just fucking, they're Looney Tunes.
Well, no, I know that because I was homeless and I was living in a tent with fucking tarps over it in the middle of the Oregon Springs, so it was like a mud pit around my tent. I saved up enough money and worked to buy a fucking small trailer, and then I bought an RV, and then I have a single wide, and I'm married now. You gotta build your way out of that situation.
Exactly. And you are a worker, and you are a builder, because you said that you were on assistance once and that you hated it and you wanted to fight your way out of it, and you did. That's the mentality. I mean, some people by circumstances, they just get screwed over at some point. Some people need a hand up, not a handout. But it's those people who only want handout after handout. It's one bad apple spoils the whole damn bunch. And that's what the gray area is, and why it's so damn difficult to sort through. Because what are you going to do? Interview people? You're supposed to judge someone's character in one interview when half of them are lying to you? I mean, we're biggest bullshit artists in the planet to go in and see if somebody's bullshitting people or not.
Matt, that's how it's done, Mad Dodge. Trailer folk for life, bitch. Yeah. White trash? No, I'm kidding. No, the thing is, though, you have to want a future to actually achieve one. Because there's lots of people who had a real life and they had what they needed, and then they're retired, they get Social Security, and they could have maintained their state of living, but they prefer to be homeless and just bum it, so they blow their money and go live in the Eugene Mission half the year. But with this virus, though, you can't be congregated in groups like that. And then they outlaw camping or anything like that. Where are these people supposed to go? Because that is a health issue. I mean, you have these people just congregating together, spreading the virus, and then running all around town, touching doorknobs and shit. It's a health issue for everybody.
Now, what if to get help, the help was to go into the military, and then your spouse would get a house on base for your spouse and child?
Okay, or I mean, a short-term
guarantee.
What about a short-term idea? All the foreclosed houses, you put them up in there for quarantine. You drop off food, leave them there, and then No?
No. You know what? You ever know any contractors?
I worked for a couple, yeah.
When it's time to leave, you know what people do? They put the Quikrete bag down the toilet. They kick holes in the walls. They lash out. It's not theirs. They didn't pay for it. They're not going to take care of it in the interim. A lot of them. And whose money are we playing with here? The guy who actually owns that house and is trying to sell it, which would be the bank most of the time. This is the bank's problem that there's homeless people. It's not the way the world works.
That's a good point.
If it was my shit.
Well, other than congregating them together, what do we do with them then? Do we arrest them?
Military service. Patriots.
Well, then what if you spread the virus throughout the military, though, infusing all these criminals and
Ellis Island on the way in?
Matt, I hear Bernie Sanders has some houses. They can live with him and his rich buddies. They won't mind, right?
Bernie Sanders is a moron. He's another one of these guys who everybody could put him up in a poster for your poster boy for destroying the Democratic Party, allowing socialism into the United States, straight up communism. Oh, it's democratic socialism. We elected our tyrant. Well, you're fucked. Communism works on paper. It doesn't work in the real world.
I totally agree. And I think that's a good spot to end it. Are you going to be streaming your Friday the 13th stuff today, or what do you got planned?
I play that game when I chill. I just got Call of Duty, but nobody watches that shit because it's just repetition. I mean, like Friday 13th, at least, it always changes based on whatever weirdo does. But I don't know.
Yeah, no, I have Battlefield 1. So if you have that game, we should play that together sometime.
I do not. You have GTA.
No, I don't. I used to, but I just got my PS4 Pro. I went without a PS4 for like 6 months.
Socialism is always democratic until it isn't. Precisely. Excellent.
But I have that PlayStation Now thing with like 300 games on it. I'll find a game to play with you.
I don't have that.
But hey, everybody, take it easy. Try and do something good with that money because our kids and our grandkids are gonna end up paying for it. Let's not blow it all on coke and whores, okay? Let's not be Charlie Sheen. Let's do something worthwhile with this money.
Food, guns, and stocks.
There we go. Wolfshot, any last thoughts? Take that as a no. Good night, good luck. Don't go to Italy, you'll get the fucking beer flu. It's bad for you. We're out of here.
China